So for people that think there's going to be sentiment right now, for people that think the Indiana Fever are just going to sit there, do nothing, for people that think incompetence is going to be expected, you're wrong. This Indiana Fever hire means more than anyone can imagine. Bringing back Kelly Krauskopf during an unprecedented time of growth. Like Lynn Dunn talking about how the old president wanted to she just wanted to walk and Kelly happened to be interested. No. They let her walk. They let her walk. They parted ways. Mutually parted ways. She was going to be fired. This is an incompetently run franchise. And it has been for a while. It has been for a long, long time. This is a franchise that didn't make a playoffs for 10 years in a league where freaking 8 of 12 teams make the playoffs. This is a franchise who gave Katie Lou Samuels and Erica Wheeler near max contracts. No more. You've got Caitlin Clark on this team. You are taking this seriously. You do not bring someone from the Pacers. You do not bring one of the best WNBA GMs ever. And you don't bring somebody who has hired an assistant GM from the Pacers. You don't move one of your highly regarded people from the Pacers to the Fever unless you're being serious. Maybe an off day with the Fever during their first playoff run. This is a while ago. The original architect of the franchises is coming home. She's returning as team president of basketball operations. WNBA Fever have always been part of me. It's truly privileged to be able to lead the stream through an unprecedented time of growth in women's basketball. I'd like to thank Kevin Pritchard for asking me to join. Well, obviously joined the Pacers. She was with the gaming. She was with the 2K League, which is crazy that 6 years ago, getting a 2K League job is an upgrade over a WNBA job. Her entire career has been about stepping into critical roles and providing unparalleled leadership. I'm incredibly excited to have her lead the Fever through this historic moment for franchise sport. She laid the foundation of success, and we're enjoying a true trailblazer for the sport, and there's no one better equipped to lead us through this exciting new chapter. She considers longtime Pacers executive Donnie Walsh a role model. She's also learned a lot from Larry Bird and Rod Thorne. And she was part of the USA Executive Committee, drafted Tamika Catchings. And look, this is going to be cutthroat. And when I say this, I mean this. When it comes to these WNBA teams, that if you treat the WNBA like you're an NBA team, you are going to be 100 times better. If you treat this as seriously, if you don't say, oh, we like Christy Sides as a person, oh yeah, you know what, she's doing fine. When you just look at it and you're like, no, she is just objectively not doing fine. Heck, sometimes there are rebuilding coaches and you're like, you know what, our team is just a little bit better now than we used to be. We're sorry, you were here for the rebuild. You're gone. We can find better coaches. And that's the thing. There are better coaches around. There is a near 0% chance Christy Sides. And this team's going to be aggressive as well. If you are the Indiana Pacers, you look at the Indiana Pacers, and this is why I think it's so important to have someone who worked with the Pacers organization, because the closest thing realistically to Caitlin Clark in the NBA is Tyrese Halliburton. And if you look at the roster that the Indiana Pacers put together, so if you look at the Indiana Pacers, if you look at the roster here, and you even look at the players that the team have. So you've added in, obviously, James Wiseman's there. You're looking at players they drafted, like a Johnny Furphy, a tall shooter. They get him second round. You've got, oh my God, James Johnson's still playing basketball. But you drafted Ben Mathurin, an athletic kind of shooter. You brought in Aaron Nesmith, a defensive, athletic guy that can shoot a bit. You have a secondary shooter. You brought in Pascal Siakam, who again has that athleticism, can push the pace, and as well as that can play as a 4 or a small ball 5. You kept Miles Turner. No matter how many times people were looking for him, you made sure you kept Miles Turner. You brought in a team that is capable of playing with Tyrese Halliburton. You brought in a team that has the pace. You brought in a team that is going to, a lot of the time, be able to space the floor around them to take advantage of the pace that Tyrese Halliburton allows you to play with. And then if you add the ability to be one of the better scorers in the WNBA, which Caitlin Clark is, So she knows the archetype of players that this team needs to get. She knows you need to sign athletes and floor spacers, and that's it. Athletic floor spacers, ideally, but I don't know how many of them there are in the WNBA. Like, I'm trying to think of who are the good athletic floor spacers, to an extent, to Dijonay. But like, this is just completely like unprecedented. Like, obviously an unprecedented like level of growth. But again, I gotta say for Indiana, it's a perfect person to bring in. And Herb Simon, fair play. I think next season there's a 0% chance Christy Sides coaches this team. Like, you can't just give grace to coaches, especially when they're not, like, for example, Eric Spoelstra, who was probably a little bit young, but Pat Riley, I don't know why he was like a Pat Riley protege. Like, Christy Sides was an assistant coach jumping from team to team. A pretty damn good assistant coach, I'll give him that. But like, I'll give her that. But she was an assistant coach jumping from team to team. Whereas you've got now a situation where you got to win now. You got to win now because it is unacceptable. It is completely unacceptable to not win. And I know a lot of people are going to be upset about that, but it's the truth. It is unacceptable to not win. Not even not win a championship. To not win more than you lose. And anyone who was in the position of the Pacers is going to evaluate what the Fever did and put some blame on Christy Sides. And you're going to need an off season. She's got to go. She has got to go. If the Sparks are going to get rid of Kurt Miller, like, the Fever need to get rid of Christy Sides. But I think we see some cutthroat things. I would love for them to get some European scouts. I would love for this team, like Herb Simon has got infinite money. Hire someone to just go around Europe. I'd love to get a European scout. I'd love for a couple of players in these high leagues, a couple of these elite players in Europe, maybe bring one or two of them over. Because, yeah, they're not going to be unbelievably good, but you might be able, for example, to get a player worth 150k for 80k if they're a quote-unquote rookie, to get them over. Especially players that might be playing in, like, a Turkey, some of the EuroLeague players. It's going to be hard to get French league players in because prioritization. But, yeah, it is what it is for that. But this is going to be huge. Like, people are really underestimating how important this is going to be for the Fever, but this is going to be the game-changing addition. More so than any player, more so than anything else, bringing in a top of the range president of basketball operations. That is the first domino. That is the second domino. Third domino. The first domino for the future of this team that fell was drafting Aaliyah. Second was drafting Caitlin Clark. Third was this hire, and I hope that she just cleans shop. I hope that she cleans shop. Like, I don't know about the assistant coaches. I don't know about some of the coaches, but I do hope that she, in general, just cleans shop with this, with a lot of the organization that was here prior to this year. Heck, even maybe prior to last year, because, Jesus, it was bad before that.